We're going to open up the Cuervo Club here in a second for the weekend. But before we do so, and I'm sorry to continue to do this, but I'm also sorry that we keep having people around here who have either influenced our show or been on our show die. And Ron Brewer yesterday, a name that will mean not very much to many of you outside of South Florida, but to a certain number of you in South Florida. You remember that Paul and Ron were pioneers in the local South Florida market, and he was basically Stugotz before Stugotz in how it is that we were absorbing local entertainment at a different time. I told you earlier in today's show that I did something super rare for me, and I noticed it yesterday in the changing of my listening habits, where I was trying to listen to a Heat game on AM radio late at night, and there was a lot of static in what it is I was consuming. The radio signal was not very strong trying to listen to a basketball game on AM radio. But if you are of a time in South Florida, you remember when Ron Brewer and Paul Castronovo were changing the way that radio was done in South Florida. And just wanted, before I left here today for the weekend, to offer my condolences to Paul and all of the people in South Florida who cared a great deal about Ron Brewer, because he very much was a Stugotz-like character on that show in supporting everything they were doing in hijinks morning radio to change how some things were done in South Florida and how people listened and consumed things.
It was the first radio show I ever knew. My parents, there weren't really any sports shows my parents were really into when I was growing up. It was my mom always listening to Paul and Young Ron, and it was just always having fun, wacky stuff.
They weren't sports, though. They were a morning...
They would have sports guys on, but yeah, it was just a variety show, and they were really funny.
One of the biggest shows in the history of South Florida, and I just didn't want to leave today without remembering his impact and their impact on the market. Before we get to the club, though, Jessica has been Eclipse obsessed for reasons I'm not particularly understanding. I did not know that you were an Eclipse obsessed person until this week.
Oh my God. The eclipse is on Monday. It's going over the part of the United States that's nowhere near Miami, and I am devastated. It's honestly, Lucy might be able to see like total eclipse from Cleveland because it's going very close to Cleveland. She's going to be there for the Final Four and the national championship game, I'm assuming. And we're getting no eclipse down here. It's bullshit. I Googled it, and it says that the optimal viewing time in Miami on Monday is 3:01 p.m., and obscuration would be at 46%. That sounds like nothing to me. That sounds like, what's the point?
So the sun is passing right by Cleveland. I don't get how that works. So the moon and the sun are passing by Cleveland, but not here, even though they're much bigger.
Yes, that's correct.
I see it every day. It comes and goes.
I don't think that's how it's working. I don't think the sun is visiting Cleveland.
You guys remember the eclipse in 2017 or 2018?
I do. I stared right into it.
Me too. I don't like this. I think they're overrated, these things, because it just makes me want to go outside and do something that's harmful to my eyes. It's like, I don't want this.
Well, don't look at it.
It's so hard to be like, hey, there's something out there, don't stare at it. You realize I want to, like, when you say don't stare, like, just don't talk about the eclipse, okay? I never go outside and go, all right, let me look right at the sun today. But if you say, yo, there's some crazy going on outside with the sun, but don't look at it.
The Trump thing is how I looked during the eclipse, because I was just looking at it like normal.
Did it come over Miami that time? Because I feel like
I was in Connecticut.
That was
okay,
me,
yeah,
by
I
the
was
way.
in New York.
In 2017, I was Trump. That was me.
It was in Cleveland is where it was. Put it on the poll at LeBatardShow. Do you think the sun ever visits Cleveland? Because I feel like Cleveland is always in a state of eclipse.
Well, there might be a lot of cloud cover on Monday because of the weather patterns being crappy, and people are starting all these conspiracy theories. It's very silly. But yes, this is the path, Tony. So this is where it's going to be like the path of totality, it's called. So these people are going to get the full eclipse, and it's going right over Cleveland, pretty close to Pittsburgh, and then it's going all the way down through Texas, nowhere near Miami. There, it's on the screen right now. Nowhere near Miami. I know people that are going out of town to see it. Like they're going to like New Hampshire or Texas or Southern Illinois for a few hours on Monday just so they can see the total
So the sun's
eclipse.
making a left?
Yeah.
They're showing a screen right
Hanging
here.
a Louis. Yeah.
This is weird. I'm with Tony.
So the sun is traveling on that axis around the world, but like, are other places going to see it too?
The Path of Totality sounds like a Jason Statham movie.
Oh, Liam Neeson really good. Path of Totality.
Path that would be totality.
Tremendous. Oh, hold on a second. They just zoomed out. So the other part of the world isn't going to see it?
Are we sure this isn't a hurricane? This looks like hurricanes.
Okay, we've got some real expertise in the room.
It stops in the middle of the
Do you
ocean,
know what
Dan.
an eclipse is?
Miami is being affected by it, and that the Marlins game in New York has been moved from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on that day so that they can avoid playing in the middle of an eclipse. I mean, they're going to
Can
lose
you imagine how many spectators are just going to look straight up if they're outside at a Yankees game and it gets dark out?
Might help the Marlins.
You do have
shadows.
an eclipse problem, though, with the sunlight and your eyes on fly balls. Like, you don't.
And she's my glove.
You got to wear the sunglasses.
Might give them an advantage.
You guys should seriously order. You can make it like out of a box. That's what we did in 2018, I think it was. And
What am I,
everyone,
5 years old, making
it
stuff
wa-
out of boxes? Give me a break. I'll look at it just right in the sky.
Okay. Well, you're literally going to blind yourself.
Put some
like, this is
sunglasses
not like
on,
a
you'll be fine.
negotiable.
I got news for you. I looked in 2017. My eyes are fine.
You guys mentioned.
I do not. Don't look though. By the way, I don't want anyone to go blind and then like sue us. But I did it.
God.
Little warning you giving the people.
That was such a bad
that was-
warning.
You
No,
think
because-
you're a big influencer there that you're going to. You need to.
I did it and I was fine.
Avoid the liabilities.
I went for the joke, and then I was worried about the company, and I was like, I don't want someone suing us. I was like,
That's a
just
good
so-
executive producer.
I mean, I'm just like, just in case anyone is out there, like, you know
or
what?
never just say it.
Yeah.
Or never say the thing.
It was funny though.
Was it?
It was
I
fun.
did it. My eyes are fine.
Okay, great. Yeah. You did it again. Now, do you want to apologize again? Do you want to tell the listeners you shouldn't do that because
The apology covers both of those.
I can't wait for Monday. I'm so excited. It's going to be so cool.
Lucy is going to return, one would assume, this time with something from where it is that she travels to, but she didn't sound great the last time we played the sound of her.
I don't recommend COVID. It's still got hands in 2024.
That doesn't look like Lucy. Never mind sound. When I conjure the image of who that person is, it's not a sick woman. It's a very old woman.
I don't recommend COVID. It's still got hands in 2024.
We should have made her say, "Holy crap, Jessica."
That woman is 65 and has been to every Bama football game for the last 42
I
years.
don't recommend COVID. It's still got hands in 2024.
Tupio.
You had her as pal.
That's exactly it. You got it. That's exactly who I'm picturing.
R.I.P. to Phyllis, I believe.
You guys mentioned the New York Post earlier and
Somber segment today.
sunglasses. I'm going to try and lighten it up here before we open up the Cuervo Club. But
Can't do that if you have sunglasses on.
I will tell you that one of my favorite New York Post sports things ever was the Mets were in last place. They had a very expensive team. Vince Coleman was their left fielder. He was very unpopular. He was very stylish. He lost a fly ball in the sun during a game to end a game that they lost. It was the costly error, and he lost it in the sun because the sunglasses that he should have had on his eyes were instead on his hat because he was looking cool. And you say to yourself, that's funny enough as it is. But what could be funnier than that? The photograph the New York Post got to put next to it from that night of Vince Coleman in the nightclub with his sunglasses on. Let's open up the Cuervo Club.
That's right. The Cuervo Club is brought to you by Cuervo. Now's a good time to enjoy the tequila that invented tequila.
Who is the first sound in the club?
You gotta go pee pee. Yeah, you know me. You gotta go pee pee.
Samson is somehow climbing in the business, even though he shouldn't be. Sitting in Rich Eisen's chair. Who else is in the club?
Twisted!
Context, please.
No, I
Play it one more
prefer no
time.
context.
Play one more time.
Twisted!
Oh, Dan, we were talking about, you've been to UFC fights. People want to see people grab their and twist it.
Who else is in the club?
Shooting blanks.
Weird week.
That is Greg Cody for some reason talking about, I'm assuming, sperm.
Shooting blanks.
Was it?
That was post-twist.
It's been a long week.
Who else is in the Cuervo Club?
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
We missed LeVar Ball this week and then
Grab
remembered.
the twist and then the blank comes. That's what MMA.
No,
That's what they do
no.
in
I
MMA.
think when you damage the situation when you twist it and then you shoot blank.
Grab his twist it!
Yeah.
Who else is in the club?
I don't want to hit this button. DraftKings. DraftKings. My tongue was heavy on Monday. DraftKings.
I've said it 1,000 times to my wife. She's like, "Why do you keep saying it?" I'm like, Chris Cody, DraftKings.
My weenus is very dry.
You need to moisturize that.
I let Roy pinch my weenus this week. You know you can't feel anything on your weenus. You
I
like
am
pinchers?
hearing that phrase for the first time. I've never heard the weenus before.
Skin of your elbow.
Did you not go to middle
Yeah,
school?
it's
The
like
weenus.
if you go elbow straight, it's
It
like
was
that
the
dead
70s.
skin in your elbow.
I'm the weirdo for not having known what that phrase is.
Yeah.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Do you know what a renus is?
Weenus.
Weenus.
Weenus
W.
is.
That's
what
going
you-
to next week's club.
Eating W's.
Who else is in the club?
My weenus is very dry.
We already said that.
Magic! Hee hee!
Amin made Magic Johnson Michael Jackson for some reason. We don't know why.
Magic! Hee hee!
Who else is in the Cuervo Club?
My name is
Yeah.
Tim Linderman, and I hate children.
Rammstein fan.
He does more voices than anyone. In the history of our show, no one does more voices than Amin.
My name is
Yeah.
Tim Linderman, and I hate children.
Who else is in the Cuervo Club?
Did someone say conservative entity?
The fifth Zagaki. Female Zagaki.
Did someone say conservative entity?
I need this character to get bigger. Who else is in the club?
What fanatics and what fanatics and
We have to have Caitlin Clark in there somewhere.
Who else is in the club?
He's getting fouled. He's getting fouled. He's getting fouled.
One more sound for the Cuervo Club.
My name is
Yeah.
Tim Linderman,
No.
and I hate children.